Hi. So I probably am a new face to you because I don't think I've ever been on GEGG. I have been working on GEGG in the background. On the tech side, on the graphics side, but I've never been in front of the camera on GEGG. I'm Maribel. You could call me MD. No, I'm not a medical doctor. That's just my initials. And some of you might already know me because I do have a YouTube channel of my own. It's called Gamermd83. I've been doing that for about 10 years now. But as of like last year, I stopped making videos on my YouTube channel because I don't know, I was really focusing on certain games, like BioWare games and CD Projekt Red games, which is tied to what we're gonna be talking about today. But then when those games kind of like faded away, you know, like The Witcher 3 and like Dragon Age Inquisition and Mass Effect and all that. When all those started to become older games, which is crazy to me now, I didn't really know what to do. I took a big hiatus and hopefully I could go back one day. So I'm guessing that this is my way back. Just doing some reviews, which is very exciting to me because I love to play video games because I have reviewed quite a few games in my YouTube career. And so now that our introductions are out of the way, we're kind of like on a first name basis and stuff. Let's get right into the review. I will do that by sharing some experiences that I've had on the game. So I got the game on PC. And now I have to say that the PC is pretty old. I rarely ever play on PC, but I decided to go with PC with Cyberpunk just because I was so excited for it. I had been waiting for this game since the initial trailer. I had been in contact with CD Projekt Red since way before the Witcher 3 released. During that production, I was in contact with them. They were in contact with me and stuff. So CD Projekt Red and we have a history. So for those years, which I was surprised to see that it was Cyberpunk was in development for nearly 9 years, almost 10. I want to play it as best as I could. And I just got a new graphics card, so my boyfriend was like, yeah, you'll be able to play it. It'll be good. It'll work. So I got Cyberpunk the day it was released, which was on December 10th, 2020. I hit this weird issue. And it was on stream, and people were like,
"Oh, MD, you didn't update your drivers."
You gotta update your drivers.
Update your drivers.
My Nvidia drivers, they were all updated. Everything was updated. I had the day one patch, everything. For some reason, the footage was like skipping. Turns out it was OBS. It's probably just an old computer, can't really capture at 60 frames per second, which is annoying, but in order to provide you guys with the stream, I started to stream at 30 FPS, just so that I could have at least a good enough stream. For the footage that I used in this video, I captured directly through the Nvidia capture, so that's all 60 and everything, so you guys should be seeing the 60 frames per second on here. Then came the rest of my playthrough. I was really disappointed with Cyberpunk and am disappointed with Cyberpunk. I was expecting, and I think the world was expecting Cyberpunk to be like next level. Now this is completely honest, my experience. I tried to capture as much as I could to show you guys the experience that I was having. I had so many bugs. And I'm not even talking about graphics, where it's just like, ooh, that looks wonky, like people were getting on the PS4 and stuff like that. I got little tiny moments where some things were like low res, but I attributed it to my PC because I was like, this is an older PC. I'll show you guys the specs that I was running on the game. I was giving it the benefit of the doubt because I think it deserves it in that end because, like I said, my PC is old. It runs it perfectly though. Like, it doesn't lag, it doesn't stop, it doesn't crash, everything is fine. Just every now and then the res is like a bit low, and it's like, ooh, gosh, those artifacts are pretty. Girl, you need to go back. None of that affected the game. What did affect the game were things that were breaking the game, where I was like, I need to restart. How many times this happened to me was ridiculous. It was getting to the point where I was like, I can't play this anymore. I wanted to wait for the patches, the hotfix patch. I think they released it on the 20th of December. So I was like, okay, perfect. I'll start playing it again and we'll give it another try, because I was so ready to just stop. So before the patch, the issues that I was getting were things that I was starting to see that people were getting, where I was like, okay, this isn't just me. In one of the missions, I thought it was just random, but apparently it's just in one of two missions where Jackie disappears and you just see two guns just shooting. I got that glitch. And I was like, what? And you could hear Jackie, but you couldn't see him. But once you started a mission and you saw a glitch, that mission was broken from the beginning to the end. That's what I started to realize. Jackie reappeared after I moved to the next room, in the same mission, next room. This is what snapped me out so hard of immersion, was that the enemies, you know, you could hide and like sneak around and stuff. This was like pissing me off. We had cleared a room. The next enemies in the next room weren't alerted. So I was like sneaking, and Jackie was even like, shh, be quiet, B, you know, like that. And I was like, okay, cool. So maybe we could just sneak out. I was standing behind a wall and I'm like, okay, let's see, which way do I go? And then all of a sudden I hear that noise, that dring. That sounded like the Metal Gear Solid one. The noise when they get alerted. I wasn't even moving, and they can't get alerted by Jackie. So they just got alerted. They would just automatically get alerted in the next room. So there was no way they had seen me. There was no way. I was making sure that there was no cameras. And when they were, I would shut them off. They were getting alerted from like 2 rooms down. What's the point then? I just go in guns blazing, and Jackie was still saying, shh, V, they'll find you. And I'm like, dude, they already know. The people in the first floor know that we're here already. I don't know what happened, but that mission was broken. As soon as Jackie disappeared, it just did not go smoothly. I even tried to like convince myself that it wasn't a bug. I was like, maybe it was just like once one guy is alerted, they call in on a walkie-talkie or something and alert everybody. And then the patch came and I was like, okay, let's do this. When the patch came on December 20th, I was super excited because I was like, okay, I'm gonna be able to play the game. It was a rocky start. CD Projekt Red deserves another try, and Cyberpunk deserves another try. But you know what? When I started playing it again, it was still broken. This is when I really started to capture everything. So I wasn't gonna do a review, but when Freddie asked me, do you wanna do reviews for GEGG? And I was like, you know what? Yeah, let's do it. It was already after the patch. And from the Bible, I mean, it's literally like, it takes an hour to scroll down all of the patch notes. I saw that a lot of the things that I was encountering were fixed. Little things were off. Floating cigarettes still, floating guns, not moving like Jackie's, but they were just floating. It's not breaking my game. I'm not having to reload. Then I hit the parts where I had to reload. I mean, it would play and everything, and people were telling me
That's so weird. I'm not encountering any of these things.
I'm not making this up. I wish all I was encountering were floating cigarettes and floating guns. And like drop-in res stuff. I don't care about that stuff. Even scenes where the person, like the character, the NPC, a major NPC was talking, they weren't in sync. They'd be...
We must examine you. If you survive the gym, it is at the chip's cost.
The things that did bother me when it came to the audio, because I was like, I just missed a big chunk of really important information, was where sometimes, especially in phone calls, like whenever you'd get a call, which was constantly, like I was like, okay, can you guys just stop? You would get new missions like every 2 minutes. And even if you didn't pick up, like even if you didn't press the pickup button, it would still pick up. That wasn't a glitch. That was part of the game, and that should not be there. Like that shouldn't, it should be a lot less often. There were things where, like the phone call, I'd get a phone call from Delamain or whatever his name is, the car service. I could just see the picture of the dude and he wasn't saying anything. I get that a lot, where people just didn't, where their voices were cut, where I couldn't hear what they were saying, and V was just answering something in the ethereal realm or something.
Let's move. Get back to work.
Let's do.
Ah, shit!
On high alert now.
On a scale from 1 to
I
6?
lost contact with a vehicle somewhere in
I'd say
your
I'm sitting
area.
at a strong 6. Thanks. Eyes peeled. Delamain misses you. I'm here to shut you down. Really appreciate it if you didn't make this difficult.
What? I'm really happy that I was able to capture a part in the game that is a major part, where it's like explaining everything. I won't go into detail, but I will show you guys what I was experiencing. Now, a lot of times you could pause and just reload, but in this case you couldn't, because you were in the network, and you could see here that I kept trying to pause and it said not able to do that. There was a point in the scene where you could hear this rock, like this punk rock song that Johnny Silverhand was supposedly playing, I guess. That song got stuck on the whole thing, and I couldn't reload.
What happened to him?
Dunno, never worked together again. Ka-ching.
Powerful emotional response. So you managed to survive.
I was gonna go crazy. I missed everything they were talking about because I was so frustrated by this freaking song. Am I gonna restart and replay that? I don't even feel like it anymore because I'm so annoyed. And plus, it's a huge scene where I have to actually go through and kill enemies and stuff. So it's like, it's not just the cutscene. That's just some of the issues I was having. I'm sure they're gonna keep fixing things because there's still a lot wrong with it. Problem is, once your experience becomes tainted because of the way that things are going, you kind of don't want to, at least that's how I feel. You know, when you were watching Game of Thrones, not that anybody is holding on to a grudge. Something happens and you're like, that didn't even make sense, where it just snaps you out. I'm already so far into it and I'm still so confused because I've missed so much that I don't even know what the hell's happening anymore. Like, I don't really care anymore. When it comes to the story and the characters and the performances, I think that's all great. Like, The voice acting is great. The people that you would encounter on the streets. I mean, CD Projekt Red said so many things about the NPCs and how they were gonna have their own like personality, and oh my gosh, they were gonna be so advanced, and like, you know, you would see that they had their own lives and stuff. Far from the truth. There's probably at least 5 different types of people. The monk, the neutral, the good friend, the gotta find a bathroom, and the gut punch. You will just see these people just constantly, repeats. All the delays that Cyberpunk went through. I mean, people were like, yeah, release it when it's ready. I kind of wish they had delayed it more. Like, even a year. They should have delayed it for longer because of what happened. I would have preferred a clean experience from the beginning over being able to play it sooner and it broken, because then I don't even want to play it anymore. You know, my most anticipated game for like 10 years. I was constantly confused when it came to the crafting and the leveling up. I just thought that it was overly complicated. I ended up just putting a lot of my points in strength, like in body, because I was like, this is too complicated. Like, I just don't get it. I mean, maybe it was just me not being into it anymore and losing interest and kind of just being confused about it all because I just didn't care anymore. Maybe that's what happened. You get to play 3 different backgrounds. I kind of wish that they had kept the 3 different classes, solo, netrunner, and techie. A direct path where it was like, if you choose these things, you will be a very different V to this one, to that one. Like, it gave you a lot of room to just become whatever you wanted to. I kind of like more structure in classes. The 3 different backgrounds, I played the prologue of the 3 different ones. The corporation, which was really cool. I thought I was gonna stick with that one, but then I tried the nomad, and that one was cool too. V does, male or female, does a different voice slightly to the 3 different backgrounds, which I think is really cool. I stuck with Street Kid. I didn't think I was gonna stick with Street Kid because that was my least favorite in the very beginning. I was like, nah, I think I'm gonna stick with Corpo. But I tended to really love the way that V was giving the personality to Street Kid. I did a male V, female V. I didn't like the nomad voice because she was just a bit too, like, she sounded like she was trying too hard. Corporation female V sounded a lot better. I was like, ooh, I like how she sounds. A lot of people were saying she sounds like me. I was like, oh. And you do get specific dialogues with the different backgrounds. So yeah, I had no problem with that aspect. Like, I really wanted to continue that, and I really don't even know what to do anymore because I'm like, do I want to finish this game? Of course I do. Am I gonna finish it the way that it is, or I'm just constantly pissed off that the game is breaking and that my experience is just that I'm just not interested anymore? Like, how? That's not fun. If I'm not having fun, I am not gonna play it, because it's like I could be doing something else right now, something way more productive than wasting my time on something that I am not even enjoying. So I think I'm gonna end it there because I could go on for hours. Freddie just started a tabletop RPG for Sea of Thieves, which is super cool. That's on Facebook, our Facebook page. All of our links will be in the description. That one's live, but we will have the VODs on the YouTube channel as well. So please follow us on our social media so you guys know what we're up to, because we're doing a bunch of stuff. Freddie has all these ideas, and so does John, when it comes to things that they want to incorporate on the channel, and it's just constantly having new things. So I wish you a good evening and good game.